cuarta y última pregunta la realiza María Jiménez por Venezolana de Televisión.
Muy buenos días, ministro. Dos preguntas.
Two questions.
Estos anuncios que acaba de
This
dar a conocer
announcement
el
that
día
you
de hoy,
just
la
made
activación de la
this
zona
year,
de
the
paz
activation
número
of the
uno,
Zone of Peace
le dan
number 1,
una nueva tarea a
gives
los cuadrantes de paz
a
en
new
los
task for the
estados Táchira
Quadrant
y
of
Zulia,
Peace in Táchira
y
and
si se
Peace.
activan las comunas, los
And
circuitos
the communes will
comunales
be
con estas
activated,
nuevas
the communal circuits,
instrucciones.
with these instructions.
También quería preguntarle
I wanted
porque
also
las
to
agencias
ask
de noticias
that
internacionales
international
persisten
media,
en
they
algunas
persist
narrativas.
in some
Se cayó
narratives.
la falsa narrativa del extinto tren de Aragua
The false
y ahora
narrative
Estados
of
Unidos
Tren Aragua
desempolva la del cartel.
came down, now is trying to use once more that the one of the drug cartel, Soles. Why this excuse? Why do they want to involve Venezuela with these narratives, including the Sinaloa cartel, when Venezuela has had an efficient policy in fighting drug trafficking? You were already providing this information with the UN report against drug and crime. Well, of course, the quadrants of peace are essential. We began, we have all the La Guaira state with the new geography of the quadrants of peace that are accompanied of what is the communal circuits or the communes where they exist. It's making peace as a territory. So we have Caracas ready, there are 200, over 200. There are 73 in La Guaira and in Petare. In Petare, you know, of the pilot plan. Petare is one of the urban areas of Venezuela that have been stigmatized. They said that it was the most violent neighborhood in the world. That's what they say when they spoke of Petare. We began this in February, I believe, and in these 6 months there's always been one homicide. So it works. It functions for peace. Peace is not only that it does not happen, it's not only the answer to when it happens, but also to prevent these things from happening. When you have the militias, the police, the military, and the people all involved, that's why results are guaranteed. Last week we were going to Zulia. We're going to go over the quadrants of peace. We were handing over bikes and vehicles and communication devices. And now we are going to add a camera system that the quadrants of peace themselves in their projects have presented and have been successful. So we're going to take this to the whole of Venezuela. There are communal circuits that have presented their own system of security that include the acquisition of cameras with a control room in different points. Well, that's not that expensive, so it can be done. The communal circuits think whatever happens here is going to be recorded. How many things have we discovered thanks to those cameras? There we have the case of Plaza Venezuela. People tend to forget. How many dead would there have been in that square if those explosives had exploded? All the people involved have been detained. Now we are still pulling the thread of the ones in charge of financing. And I warn, no one should be surprised
cuando aparezcan en una cajita de esas, ¿cómo se llama? De los ampogramas. A esas cajitas se refiere. Por eso hay 24 autores materiales. Mira, encontramos a una.
There are 24 people involved that have been detained. We found the final two. The final two, we found them in a cave.
A 5 horas del sitio donde los dejó un carro.
5 hours from where a
Y
car had
los
left them,
sabuesos ahí llegaron.
and our hounds
Así que
found
se
them.
metan donde se metan,
So no matter where they go, we are going to find them.
no van a quedar impunes.
Justice will
Los
be
autores
served.
intelectuales, todos sabemos.
The masterminds, we all know who they are.
Todo eso está embarrado de ambición personal.
This is all marked by personal ambitions of those that do not have the votes, yet want the power because their families told them that they were going to be president. One of them is Maria Corina Machado, that has no shame, that does alliances with criminal groups and drug trafficking alliances. And I say once more, when New York Times says this, that's when they're going to believe it.
Cartel de Jalisco fue que dijiste, tiene contacto es con ella,
The,
no
per-
es con el gobierno.
the cartel Jalisco, they have contacts with her, not with the government. The paramilitary drug trafficking gangs in Colombia, they have contact with her through Uribe and Duque and through Lady Davilas, who are her friends. It's not with us that they have linked drug traffickers. And the narrative, well, it's not only the narrative of Tren Aragua, because it is important to go over this. Tren Aragua, all those that went to El Salvador Tren Aragua, not a single one. Of the 252, not a single one was linked to the Tren Aragua. Tren Aragua, we ended it here, and what remains of that, of Tren Aragua, we know who they are. Moreover, we know where they are, and we have denounced them, but they have found protection in Colombia, in Chile. So when they say Tren de Aragua, we prove them here that they do not belong to the Tren de Aragua.
Les demostramos que no son del Tren de Aragua. Eso fue donde los encontraron, ¿eh? Les demostramos que no son del Tren de Aragua. Bien, la narrativa, nos han acusado de terroristas.
We have been accused of terrorism.
Se le ha caído también.
That's also been dismantled. So every so and again, they recycle their narratives. What is true when I go back to the map of the UN, if the United States, if the countries of the world wanted to fight against drug trafficking, what does common sense says? Where would they be deployed? All that military, naval, air force to fight drug trafficking that comes from Colombia, it will be here in the Pacific, because 87% of drug goes there. So there is not a real will to fight against drug trafficking. They have a will to do something else, but not fighting drug trafficking. Because that drug goes to the United States, to Europe. If they want, and we have, and we are at the disposition to show them how do you truly fight against drug trafficking, how do you truly care for the border of a country. We do not allow them to do anything. Their narrative, we cannot avoid them saying whatever they want. But what is a reality is that. So if I have on this side 87% of the drugs, why would I concern myself where there's only 5% of the drug coming out? Why? So it's not drug what they want to fight, it's something else. And also they want to guarantee that 87% reach their destination. One now believes that when they move, it's actually to guarantee the movement of achievement they care about. Or the world forgets about the so-called controlled deliveries that the DEA made until Commander Chavez broke with the DEA. Well, from
nosotros
this moment
cumplimos la
on,
instrucción que da el hermano
fulfilling with the instruction
presidente
that our
Nicolás Maduro
brother President Nicolas Maduro gave,
a la
we are
activación
going to
de
activate
la zona de paz número 1,
of the Son of Peace number 1,
Zulia y Táchira,
Zulia Táchira,
con toda una fuerza,
with
15.000 hombres en una primera etapa,
15,000
medios,
men and
aviones,
women in a first stage with all the equipment necessary, drones, ships, because we're going to use, and we have been using drones. All this
aviación y drones,
All this is discovered through deviation and drones.
aviación y drones. Chequeamos, revisamos y actuamos. Y actuamos. Si, repito, si quieren, nosotros estamos a la orden modestamente.
So if they want, we are in this position to President Nicolas, I always say this, and we
Del lado colombiano,
hope that the Colombian side does the same on their side of the border to prevent that any group can move
de un lado para otro.
from one side to the
La
other.
mayor garantía
It's the best guarantee
de la tranquilidad de la frontera.
and
Que cada quien
tranquility
en
of the
su
border
área
that each on their
todo
side
debe ser.
cares for it
Pero
as it
muchísimas
must be.
gracias. Les agradezco,
Thank you very much.